Well, again, not a build video, but something I need to take care of. I ordered a new 14-inch jet bandsaw to replace my old one, and because it gives me a little more resaw capacity and a little better fence, and that's really what I wanted, because I need as accurate a cuts as I can get for some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing. So I upgraded, and this is basically the unboxing and assembly video for that. The new 14-inch jet steel frame European style bandsaw. So let's get on with the assembly and see what it looks like. Well, it got here a little earlier than expected, but now comes the task of assembling the base and putting it on and standing it up and getting it in place. First thing is putting the frame together. Sometimes it helps to have a cheater like a clamp to hold this in place. At first blush, this appears to be a very well constructed little saw. I think I'm going to be quite happy with it. Yeah, that's going to block your vision a little bit, but at this point I think it's more important that I see what I'm doing than you. I'm basically just doing the same thing I just did on the other side, putting these two bolts in. Just finger snug, really, not even tight, just get them up close, because I'm sure there's going to have to be some tweaking that happens when I put them on the bottom of the saw, or when I mount the base. This is the base of the saw. I have not yet decided whether or not I'm going to put it back on my mobile base. That's a really good mobile base that I have under my old bandsaw, and I haven't really decided yet whether I'm going to change that out or not. Part of me says I need to hang on to it and use it on this saw. Another part of me says wait until you see. Well, now you can't see what I did. I took the other panel and put it up here. Part of me says wait and see how tall the table is, because this saw, from what I saw when I was in Woodcraft checking out what they had, I did not get this saw from Woodcraft, by the way, and I didn't get it off Amazon. I actually ordered it from Acme Tool. They had back in March when I ordered it, Jet had their 10% off sale going, and Acme was honoring that with free shipping. So we're kind of hard to beat. So I know the workbench is level, so now I get a couple of wrenches and tighten these up. Got the base put together. Put the feet on. What I'm doing is I'm running this in and then tighten it so that the tip of this nut, or this bolt that's in this leg, is flush with the end of this nut on all four of these. That way they'll be roughly set. The feet actually screw into the base, it's threaded. Now we'll carry this over to the saw and see if we can mount it. Okay, the base mounts to to the bottom of the saw using these long socket head screws. Now the question becomes how to get to those other two bolts on the bottom. When my help comes back, I want to stand it on this furniture dolly so we can more easily move it over to where it's going to be, because this saw, total shipping weight was 300 pounds. The table probably weighs 50 because it's milled cast iron. The crate itself was probably 30. So that means the saw is 200 something pounds. And once upon a time, in my younger oil field days, I could just horse this right up myself and not worry about it. For that matter, I could have picked it up and moved it around the shop. But I can't do that anymore. Picking up and carrying V8 blocks is not something I'm capable of doing anymore, and this is about what this weighs. It's just bigger. I got the base on it. I took the mobile base off my old bandsaw, readjusted it, and I've got it sitting there. Now, as soon as my help gets back, I'll stand this up and we'll finish putting it together. I got it mounted to the mobile base. I decided to go ahead and use it just so I can position it easier without having to pick it up. And this table height is just about perfect. So I'm happy with that. The one thing I have to do yet, the table is installed, but it's not tightened down. I can't adjust it until I get a blade in it. And guess which saw doesn't come with a blade? This one right here. It don't come with a blade. So I've got blades ordered. They'll be here tomorrow. And then I can put the blade in and finish installing or getting the table adjusted the way it needs to be and all set up, and I will continue. Okay, I got the blade in, but before I get the blade installed and set the table up, you can see it's still not tight. I need to take this off. Protective plastic that they put on the table. There's got a coating on it as well. So I'm going to clean that off with denatured alcohol. It's a thick, oily substance. It's not put on as thickly or as heavily, and it doesn't feel as thick as, say, Cosmoline, but it's got to come off. They tell you, the manual says to clean it, and it says not to use strong solvents like acetone or lacquer thinner, because if you spill any on the paint, it can dissolve the paint. So I use denatured alcohol. But before I do anything else, I want to give it a liberal coat of paste wax. This is just Johnson's paste wax. This is what I use on all my steel surfaces, my table saw, my bedways of my lathes, tabletop for my scroll saw. Just helps protect it, especially from sweat on those hot days when it gets to dripping, because it does get to dripping. That should do the trick. I ordered a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch blade for this, and to set it up, I'm going to install the 1/2 inch first. Twang! It's important when you're installing a bandsaw blade to make sure that you get the teeth going in the right direction. I will say, I don't know what the setup is going to be like, but installing the blades on this saw is not nearly as fast as changing the blades on, say, the cast iron style. Because with the cast iron style, depending on the types of blade guides you've got on the bottom, and these have a shroud around them that has to be dealt with. So depending on the type, but say my older central machinery saw, throwing a new blade on is easy because you got a blade guard that comes off right here. This blade guard doesn't come off. You have to feed it around the back, and it's a bit fidgety. This is actually kind of cool. It comes with this little piece it calls a dust block. It has to be cut at an angle. You got to cut a slot in it, an angle of about 45 degrees, and it sits in here. And what it does is it prevents a lot of the dust from here from going past this collection port down here, which is kind of cool. Any dust that does get past should get picked up by this port. Okay, this says it's already tensioned for a 1/2 inch blade, but I don't believe it. I didn't buy it for a second. Okay, this shows to have a 13-inch resaw capacity. Let's check it out. It does. The tracking looks to be just about perfect. You want the gullet right in the middle of the tire because the tire should be crowned. And even though the instructions in this manual say for tracking you want the blade pretty much centered on the tire, Alex Snodgrass and others will tell you that you want to try to center just back of the gullet at the crown of the tire. And so I'm going to leave that there because that's about right. Now, one thing I need to do is tension this blade before I finish the setup. That appears to be just about right. There's a blade tension indicator on the inside in here, and it shows that this blade is tensioned for a 5/8 inch blade. This is a 1/2 inch blade. There is a way to adjust that pointer. You see where the tire is. I've got the gullet at about the crown of the wheel. And here you see the tension pointer and scale. But if you notice on this screw, they've got slots in here so that you can adjust that pointer. In order to get this right, because I've got a 1/2 inch blade in here and it's tensioned the way I want it, this should be pointing at a 1/2 inch. In order to get it there, I would have to loosen this bolt here and that bolt up there, that screw up there, and slide this up. Right now it's bottomed out all the way down. So let me try to do that and I'll come back. Okay, I've loosened this, moved it up just a little bit. Now it lines up just fine with the 1/2 inch mark. Again, that's only a rough guesstimate. The best way to figure your band tension or your blade tension is it depends on the kind of blade you're using. I prefer Timberwolf blades. That's what I started using years ago, and Timberwolf tells you to adjust it using the flutter test. So that's what I did in this particular instance. One of the things I like about this saw is the table pin is attached via a little chain, so you don't drop it in the shavings when you take it out to change your blade. So got the table pin now, so you put the table pin in. That ensures that this cast iron doesn't warp and it stays perfectly level. Another thing I like about this saw, at first blush, just out of the box, is it comes with this insert. And this insert is notched. You can put it either direction. This way allows for, you can see there's an angle on this one, and the table tilts like so. So you can leave it in this fashion if you're going to be tilting the table. And another thing I like about this insert is that it is metal. It's probably aluminum, which means it's going to work better and last longer than those inserts that you can, or that come with some of the other saws. A plastic one came with my central machinery saw, and it didn't take long for it to get eaten up. So I made another one out of, I ordered some plastic ones that were supposed to fit online. They didn't fit, they were too thick, so I basically had to machine a little flat out of the sides of them, and those didn't last very long either. I ended up buying aluminum ones off of Amazon not long ago. So okay, got that in. Now we'll continue with the, so we've got the tension set, we've got the tracking set. Now it's time to set the blade guides. They included a package of the right size Allen wrenches for everything you're going to need for this saw. And what I'll do is I will probably put these in a baggie like this one and get me another magnetic bowl from Harbor Freight and stick it right here with the wrenches in it. So I'll always have them handy. There's 2 set screws on the back side of this block, and so we're going to loosen those. So what you want is you want to slide this up until this bearing is about a 1/64 of an inch behind the gullet. That's pretty close. So we'll tighten these back up, and it gives you a diagram of what it means. So about a 1/64 of an inch back. All right, now I'm going to do the lower guides. I'm not going to be able to let you see that, but I'll be back. It says table must be aligned so the blade runs through the center of the table insert, which that was close a minute ago. Table is aligned with the blade, and table is square to the blade at the 90-degree scale reading. Install table insert. It's installed. Blade should be positioned at center. If it's not, nudge it right or left as necessary. It is centered. Now align it to the blade. You're not going to get much more square than that. Okay, I've adjusted the pointer so it says it's at 0 or 90 degrees. Not that it matters, because I will probably, if I'm doing any detailed cuts, I'll use my Wixie digital gauge. So the tabletop is set up. Installing the guide rail and the fence. Guide rail's already on. Okay, so slide the fence body onto the guide rail. This is the fence body here. Untension the blade. And I'm set up. I'm ready to go. All I have to do, I can't use it yet. Well, I could, but I'd get sawdust everywhere, and I don't really want to do that because this thing has 2 4-inch dust ports on it. It's not going to get it all, I'm sure, but it will get the bulk of it, and that's what I need. What I'm going to do is roll this into place, and Friday my hose should be in. I like this base. This is one of the better bases on the market. It really is. Table height looks good. This base has always been just a little wobbly. If I get to the point where I don't like it, it's never really bothered me before. If I get to the point where I don't like it, I'll pull the base out from under it. But for now, this is where she's gonna sit. As soon as my hose comes in, I'll cut it and get it in place. I got the Y today. So all in all, I'm impressed with the saw. I think I'm gonna like it. I think I'm gonna like it a lot, actually. I like it, I'm impressed. What little I've run it, it seems to be a very nice saw. So, sorry about that, guys. I will have a project video out soon, I promise. I promise. It's just things, you know, you got to deal with them as they happen. And I really wanted to get this taken care of. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change out the tires on my old bandsaw so I can put it back together and get it listed and get it out of here. The reason I didn't do any of my cane turning while I was working on the bandsaw assembly and getting it together and waiting on the blades to come in and now the hose is because I swept up over there and I didn't want to throw shavings anywhere that I would have to clean up again until after I got the saw in place. So that's done now and I can get back to project work. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. Hopefully I can get this other bandsaw back together and sold quickly to help finance that big one over there. That's the goal. Get mama off my back. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one. Remember, live, laugh, and love. Come back and see us.